What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel in this series of videos where we are adding a master bathroom onto our home. We put a dormer on, we roughed it all in, and we are ready to start putting in a shower, a beautiful shower. I'm going to show you today how to install the Schluter Shower System. We got prefabricated niches, curb, and so forth. We're going to put that waterproofing system in. It's going to be a double-headed shower. We're going to have a bench in the bottom here. We're going to have a prefabricated curb that's going to go right there, and a niche that's going to go right there. Take some measurements here. We're going to put one board right up against the wall, go floor to ceiling. Yeah, we'll start with that one. And that is going to be 41 inches up. Let's see if we can remember all that stuff. We're going to be using Kerdi board to waterproof this shower. This is a polystyrene, I think that's what it is. Look how light it is, it's awesome. This is a 4x8 sheet, 1/2 inch. It's got markings on there for easy cutting. I don't know if you guys can see me. And it's already got waterproofing membrane right on there, so we only have to waterproof the seams and we're ready to go. This stuff is fantastic. Decided to write it down, probably wiser. There's 41, and there's 41. All right, let's do some cutting. Now you saw how light it is. Now let me show you how dust-free it is when it comes time to cut it. I have found when cutting this Kerdi board, it's best to kind of turn your knife into your straight edge. Otherwise it'll tend to wander. And turning it and tipping it in like that helps compensate for the bevel on your utility knife as well. I suppose you could use one of the extendo knives with a longer blade, and that would mitigate this issue. But this seems to work pretty well. I just kind of plunge in and turn towards the straight edge, just a fraction. And it glides right up along that edge. Relatively dust-free, wouldn't you say? And just like drywall, pop it up, bend it over, give yourself a score down the backside, which also has the waterproofing membrane on there. There we go, just like that. Light as a feather, no dust, utility blades last a long time. It's really quite wonderful stuff. Okay, I'm going in blind, no test. Let's see if it fits in here. It does. And then we'll see if everything aligns here. A little bit snug. I like it though. Got a light here. After that, we should be good to go. Definitely snug right there. Tall. This looks good. This looks really good. I forgot to take into account the caulk on the bottom. That is why we had an issue. I'm off-centered a little bit right here, but that's okay because when we put the Kerdi valve stem cover on here, if we got to cut it out a little bit right here, and there's an opening there, the mud and the Kerdi wrap that's included on that valve stem cover will cut that. These are screws that go in here to hold everything. You don't want more than 16 inches on center. And then it looks like you want vertical max of 12, and then obviously we have the 16-inch stud, so every 12 inches is what we're doing. I also marked out on the ceiling where my studs are, because I knew I would miss them. Measure once. With all these lines on here, makes it really easy. I'm going to be using this pre-fabricated curb from Schluter as our curb. I do think I might cut it down a little bit shorter, but that is, we'll decide that in a minute here. I need to cut it into our curved pocket here. And one thing, I did put some leveler in, as you might see, and I put it in line with the wall, which gives us 4 inches to the outside of the drywall right here. And this is a 4.5 inch curve. So we're gonna have to cut it to its proper width, and I'm also gonna have to cut the front. This is 3/4 it looks like. So I'm gonna cut the front off just a little bit so that it will overlap this leveler. And when we put the shower pan in there, it'll go up over what we removed. So it's not like it's a big deal. And then we'll waterproof the whole thing with some Kerdi wrap. Make sure this is a good snug fit, although our Kerdi board is gonna come down on top, so it doesn't really matter so much. 34 3/8. Beautiful. Alrighty, we are looking pretty good so far. Got the mixing valves dead level all the way across. Not sure if you can see the laser right now, but we are right on the tip of the faucet, which is awesome. And I'm trying to line up where the niche is going to go right here. I would really, really like it if I could get it where there's a piece of tile going all the way across the bottom, so no cut on the bottom. So this piece of tile will go all the way across. Now, these mixing valves, I tried to line them up where they will go right in the middle of a tile. Tiles are 12 inches tall. They're actually a fraction less than that. Got my laser level right here, and I marked a line 6 inches above and below. So I'm thinking that we want the bottom of the niche to be somewhere right here, or we need to bring it all the way down to this level. I know where my 2x4s are in there. I haven't put the screws on, so we'll get this cut out and get the niche in real quick. Right there. We know our 2x4 is right there. So easy. The best way I found to cut this Kerdi band is with a pair of scissors, and I'm doing a bunch of strips and then we'll cut them into 5-inch sections. You can do them one by one, but yeah, work smarter, not harder. Save yourself some time, roll out a whole bunch, cut them all into little squares. So I got half a bucket of AllSet right here. We just cut up a bunch of Kerdi band 5x5 squares, and those will go over our screw seam joint majiggers. And then I got a couple of tools here. You'll want 2 straight knives, and this will help you push the Kerdi band into the corner. And then you'll need a 8x8, and we will actually use this to spread the mortar out and press the Kerdi band into that. So the 5-inch Kerdi band is going to go down the corners. It'll go over here, and then we have some inside and outside corner pieces. I think like an outside corner will go right here. Inside corners will go down here on the bottom, although we don't have our shower pan in place. A good recommendation from the Schluter rep that came here, Mark, he mentioned don't put your shower pan in yet, because then you got to put something down to walk on top of that. So if we wait to slap that in, until the end. Yeah, it's easy. I can just walk in here and be ready to go. I also have this. This was a rigid tile tool. I don't know that Rigid's making tile tools anymore, but this helps you get the mud out of the bucket. Handy. Of course, have yourself some water with a sponge. I've got our mud in place. Drop a Kerdi band here. I'm gonna go ahead and fold it right at the beginning, just so I know where the middle is. This is where those two knives come in really handy right here. You can press one into the corner and spread out your Kerdi band with the other one. Now we are not looking for a mud coating over the top, but we are looking to pretty much smear all the mortar out from underneath that Kerdi band, which means you have a good bond. Now for all of these screw holes, it is a matter of a big old dollop of mortar on there. You're going to put a 5x5 square on there to make sure you get enough on. Grab those 5x5 squares, slap that sucker right up there. You want to grab your other knife, otherwise it'll just slide all over the place on you. Pinch it down, and that's what we want right here. You can use your knife where we didn't get mud. You can kind of just slide what's there out from underneath. Again, always make sure you hold on to it, otherwise it's going to slide all over the place. There we go. There we go. About 120 to go. I'm going to be using the Kerdi mixing valve seal and pipe seal, and they will go over the mixing valve and over the pipe. Would you imagine that? So we just got to put a little thinset around there and slap them in place. If you look at this from the profile side there's a thick side and a thin side, and the thicker side goes into the wall over your mixing valve. And right here is a great example of how, if your hole is off a little bit, now is the time to fix it. We got everything waterproofed except for the curb, but we got to do the bench. I am super excited about this because it's going to be sweet. So Schluter makes the prefabricated bench. I probably said that, but we're wider than their widest one. So we're making it out of mostly 3/4 inch Kerdi board. We have a little bit of 1/2 inch. Basically what I'm going to do here is make the legs by laminating them together. We're going to do that real quick right here, and then we'll get into actually setting the bench up against the wall, making sure it's pitched right and whatnot. So we just got to slather some mud in here, and then we use our Kerdi knife to make sure that we have the right amount of mud on here. Make sure we're flush on the front, top to bottom. There we go. One leg coming at you. Set them to the side so they don't slide anywhere. Got to do that for 4 legs. excuse the wide angle, but that's the only way we can do business right now. So you guys are in the shower. It's all done, minus the pan, which will go in after we get the tile on the walls. But we got to get the curb set in place, and then we need a waterproof down to here. I left this for last because we need to wrap on top of the curb and all the way down here and then on top of the curb. So I'm going to pull this out right now, make sure I got my levels nearby. I don't. They're up there. So that we make sure we're level. I'll pitch the tile. I might try to pitch this in a little bit, but we'll see. I don't really know. Remember, we have this front lip cut out to go over the leveler, so you don't want to forget about that. Levels. It's looking very good there. We're level this way, and we're pitched towards you guys a little bit. Don't mind all the tile. We had to do it this way because we are doing a linear drain, which is going against that wall. So there's going to be a pitch this way. It is this beautiful floral pattern that we see right here from Schluter. And it is an offset grate, as you can see right here. So not grate, drain. So the drain is right here on the side. And we're going to drill that hole to make sure everything aligns right now. Everything, as always, beautifully packaged with Schluter. They got their full big instruction manual in there. And this is actually a part of a shower kit. So they have inside, outside corners. They have your mixing valve seal and your pipe seal. They give you everything you need if you have access underneath, which we don't in our case. So we're going to have to modify our installation steps a little bit. Laying this bad boy in here. I drew this line as to where I think the plumbing drain is. Man, I was close. I've got 5 inches over here, 5 inches down there. Obviously, this is all going underneath the shower pan, so I can drill a couple of holes here and make sure we're in the right place. And I don't actually need to get like a perfect hole through the pan here. So I'm thinking I might cut a little bit bigger hole so I have some wiggle room to figure out exactly where things are. And we should be good because we're going to cover it all and waterproof it all. But this is going to look great. This is going to look so good. This is the Schluter shower pan. It is 38 by 76. So we're going to cut it a little bit shorter, and we're going to have to do a little bit of dry pack, 2 inches dry pack on one side to get to our 40 inches wide. And this already has the Kerdi waterproofing right on it, so we are ready to go. You'll see here on the bottom of the pan there are markings. And if we take a look over here at our channel body, we'll see we got a 120 here. This, by the way, this VO is the offset right there. So channel body, here's our pan. There is our 120 mark, and if we go down here, there's another 120 mark. And this bad boy came in the channel body. And if we line this up right here, 120, go over here, look at that. We need to cut where? Right at 120. So that's where this channel body support will fit right in there. So when we cut this down to fit into our shower that has the bench. Because we're not using the full 76 because of our bench, we're gonna have to cut down, and we wanna make sure we do that evenly from both sides here so that our channel body is centered. Carefully score. Don't need to go deep. We'll follow back in just a second. Move your level out of the way. And now that you have a guideline, you can do a full blade cut. Pay attention. You don't want to go off of your line still. Then once we're there, this is not going to break without a little bit of force. So put your level on edge, close to where your cracked line, your break line is going to be. Go ahead and give it an adjustment. There we go. Good clean cut. Then make sure you fold over completely so that we have a good guide for our blade, because there is the Kerdi wrap, the orange Kerdi wrap on this side, that we want to make sure we cut cleanly. There we go. I did mix up a bucket of slightly wetter mortar because it just makes spreading it thinner like this much easier. And you're using a smaller trowel, so you just want a little bit thinner mortar. Easier to put the Kerdi band on as well. The sharp-eyed of you might realize, hey Tyler, you cut that in multiple pieces. You're right. I had to move the drain. I had to move where I thought the drain was. But it also kind of worked out well because doing a ledger board tile like I did, I couldn't get this thing in. So it worked out well to use the multiple pieces. And this is our drain channel. And I also accidentally cracked that, although I don't think that's a big deal. What's up? Thank you. Waterproof this edge where I had the holes and this seam that I had to fix. I have a couple different widths of Kerdi band, and I think this one is a 5-inch, and it works out just perfect to get up here, cover and waterproof those holes, and then cover my seam as well. And then that also waterproofs right into the shower pan. Time to set the drain. Got everything in the right spot, got it primed, got this primed. Because we don't have access underneath, we're using this coupler, and we need to tighten everything down here and then glue it and set it and hope we got everything right. Go ahead and tighten this down really well. And this is a different coupler. I had to get a reducing coupler for our plumbing system that we have in place here. Schluter does send you a lovely 2-inch coupler though. Okay, I did a quick test. I could see where it scraped the primer. So I'm terrified, but I think we're good. I'm gonna spread a little mortar on here to hold the channel down. I do gotta say, what a terrible time to lose some footage. I don't remember if it was the heat of the moment of getting that drain installed, if I hit a button, if the battery ran out, don't really recall. But as you can see, the drain looks pretty fantastic, and it wasn't too difficult to get in. Had to do the Kerdi wrap all around, but that's just like the rest of the Kerdi wrap, so you'll be able to figure it out. Sitting here on our shower pan, our drain is in and looking good. We've got our dry pack in, looking good. I just tried to see if a 5-inch, I think that's 5-inch, that's a 7-inch Kerdi wrap will wrap over here, and it doesn't come out far enough, so I'm going to use the bigger one, which must be something like a 10-inch Kerdi wrap. I want to make sure I come off of the curb all the way over here. Then over here we'll cut it a little bit shorter just so it goes up underneath the tile. We already have outside corners on here, so I'll put the Kerdi wrap in. I'll put an inside corner over here, inside corner over here, and we are watertight. I think I'm going to change to a 5-inch wrap over here. Do a seam here. Yeah, go like this. Notice I flipped the trowel long ways here because I want to make sure I don't dig into my dry mortar bed. Oops. Well, as you can clearly see behind me, there's tile on the shower, so we're done, and it's actually been in use for several months now. Wonderful shower, super awesome to have this master bathroom in the master room now. So I hope that video was helpful. I think it's going to be a very long video, but there's lots of good nuggets of information in there, and if I can do it, you can too. It's not actually that difficult using the Schluter system to build a magnificent shower like this. Lots of hours into that though, but you can put the effort in, and it's going to be awesome. Hope this video helped some of you out. If it did, please hammer that thumbs up button down there. Subscribe so you don't miss when we do this large format tile shower video because it's pretty sweet. I'm DIYTyler, and you guys have a good one.